An update to the model in LTX video 0.9.73b received surprisingly positive feedback. In this video, we mainly see two functions of the model. One is image-to-video generation, and the other is hand-drawn frame generation. In fact, upon observation, it can handle not just 2 images, but 3 or even 4 as well. The time method used here is still Comfy UI. Corresponding to this large model, there are 3 other models. One is a quantization model, and the other 2 are used for larger models. Then let's take a look at the workflow. We'll go through it step by step to see what it looks like. I'm using the RunningHub online Comfy UI video generation platform here. Let's talk about the quick start first. Load the image and set the frame rate. I set constraints on the width and height here, making sure both are within 768 and maintaining a proportional ratio. The constraint width and height will be small because we'll enlarge them later. This is where the brilliance of this space and time model shines through its magnification. We'll see later that the frame numbers also remain at 8n+1. Actually, you can use this reverse process from RunningHub to perform a reverse calculation. Behind the node lies an obvious large language model. If you can replace it by running locally, there's no recommendation to use your own local computing power to run large language models. JP, look up and to the right. There are 2 groups you can choose from. These options allow you to zoom in on the space. The amplification of space is reflected in the width and height, making it appear clearer. Because of this result, the initial render was at a small size, and the face area remained relatively blurry. However, it became clearer after zooming in. This group represents time expansion. Time expansion mainly means making the video longer, but it's also clearly observed that the motion becomes slower. So I actually prefer to focus on spatial expansion, which is a special approach using a specially trained video model. Then we look at the details. We load a clip model. The reverse prompt uses the default prompt. The forward prompt is entered through reverse inference. So here's where the reverse process happens. The corresponding system prompts can be written by everyone as they like. Here I'm 24 years old, according to the official process. If you want better quality, set it to 24 and the motion will appear smoother. If you want greater dynamic range, set it to 60, which will reduce the quality accordingly. I actually did a lot of tests and set it to 24 without any issues. The missing dynamics can be compensated with prompt keywords. And my test results showed that even without prompts, the outcomes were still quite good. If you want to use a quantized model here, switch it to an FP8 model and then enable the nodes. This place actually has a preset. There are 3 options. The first one is dynamic, which allows for greater dynamic range. This is used for amplification, so the dynamics won't be as strong. The middle is a balance setting. When using presets, it will override those values. The sampler scheduler is set to default, and I've already standardized all the seeds. As we look further back, zooming in on this area, it actually transfers the original latent directly without going through the pixel space. Here, when doing the upscaling, there is some loss in the pixel space, but by moving directly from latent to latent, it skips the pixel space entirely. Then we'll proceed with scaling up. The key point to pay attention to here is block sampling. So for splitting, I've divided it into 2x2 blocks, with the default being 1x1. Why divide it into 2x2? We can lower our performance requirements. If you can do it in 1 pass, there's no need for 2 passes, because if you zoom in on separate blocks, it's very likely to create an unnatural seam at the edges. Understanding time dilation is similar. Just switch the model here. Both options are available. You can turn off one and enable the other. Navigate to RunHub AI or click the link in the introduction to register and get 12 gigabytes. Log in daily to receive an additional 100 points. The corresponding AI workflow and one-click AI applications have been deployed online and can now be run and tested online. Then we look at the next step, multi-image tail frames. Here is a demonstration of 2 images. For these 2 images, I've set constraints on width and height. The top edge image is input into the sampler, and most of the nodes are exactly the same. The difference is that the sampler has an adjustable point. This time, the generated video has 49 frames. We can specify the first image to appear at 0 and the second image to appear at 42. If you've watched the previous VSC videos, you should know that frame interpolation involves redrawing between 2 images. So here we can set the timing when these 2 images appear, 0 and 42. You can also adjust them to other values. Decoding this area with Taylor is absolutely fine. After decoding, there's a node called Movie Enhancement. If we run out of memory, we can bypass it. A peak moment that adds beauty to something wonderful, but it can also easily block us. We won't be too strict about the trailing frames anymore. We've completely given up on the idea of interpolating between 2 unrelated images. So this time, the 2 images entered are relatively consistent. If we need to combine 3 images, just continue connecting them sequentially and then merge them into 1 image. I rendered this scene at 97 frames, allowing me to add a ghost image appearing at 0, 40, and 90 frames. If you want to go to the 4th image, connect 1 more image. Adjusting here allows you to set 4 numbers. In summary, for the LTX video model, the generation speed must be faster than that of the Y model. If your GPU memory is less than 24 gigabytes, it's recommended to use a quantization model directly. This model that expands the space actually helps me get clear results in the end. Personally, I think the grain has become very fine, but there's no need to make the low-resolution generation so blurry, otherwise we might lose consistency in the characters during the scaling process. It's worth trying.
So most of the content on this channel focuses on sharing open source models and projects. However, it's the closed source models that really set RunningHub apart. Many popular models' prices have been significantly lowered by them. For example, models like V2, Keling, and Wanxiang, some versions even cost less than the official public prices. Once you start using them for a while, you'll realize how much money you can save over time.